Alright, welcome back, ladies and gentle jammers, to the Feed Me Pixels channel. We've got some more Astroneer here today, and when we left off, we built ourselves a fancy-prancy rover. And this is what we're gonna use to, hopefully, go and explore a bit of the planet's surface before we decide to leave the planet and go on other questionable adventures in space. I'm not saying that I want to sell the moon and then crash it into another planet, but it's definitely on the to-do list. So anyway, we've got ourselves a fancy rover, and I started driving around, and I noticed there was a bit of random crash debris. And crash debris usually means free bacon. That is the takeaway here. And it looks like we got something that I've been looking for a while. We actually found some titanium, which usually you only find in places like the moon, because it's like a really rare thingamabopper. But in this case, we managed to find some out in the wilderness, in like a crashed spaceship of sorts. So basically that means we get some free compound, and we got some free copper, and it's like it's a little crashed spaceship pod. So that's kind of neat. Alright, now there is one thing we can do with our little vehicle that I have not bothered with. Some vehicles actually let you build like a portable base from them, but I guess not this particular one. And if we luck out, some of these solar panels that we find out here, kind of wrecked in the middle of nowhere, can also provide us with a little bit of power to go along with everything else that we've got going. Because some of them are like proper satellite things that have just crash landed on the planet, and they will possibly provide us with delicious bacon. So let's see here. Let me put some of these materials on our car. This is part of the reason why I brought it, because you can store stuff on it. And then the other part is that it's just a lot easier to get around because it's like a portable command center that'll provide us with all of the oxygen that we could possibly need, if not all of the energy. So let's see here, let's see. That is all pretty much harvested. Whoops, come back here, you compound. You're mine forever. Well, here's another thing that we managed to find. We have a... It's like a research module, and that will allow us to research fancier things. What can I do with this? I guess we'll just have to leave that in our inventory. What we can do with some of these machines, if this was a bigger vehicle, is we could put that on the butt of it, but I can't really do that with this, so we're just gonna have to roll with what we got for the moment, and come back for that, if I remember. And that is a murder pit. A series of murder pits. Yeah, sometimes the terrain can be very thin and also extremely flimsy, so you gotta watch out for stuff like that. On the plus side, this is a planet that comes complete with a lot of free power, so I've really not been wanting for any of my excursion supplies for energy. So I can just take this energy off of our cart and plug it in the ass end of the car, I think. And that should have powered it? I guess not. Oh well. I guess we'll just suck out some fresh power and say screw it. And I guess it is, to some degree, it's somewhat true to form, that you can end up with, like, crystallized power. Because I do know you can find, like, crystallized oxygen and other chemicals in the natural environment, so I guess it would make sense that you can run into some stuff like this. Put that on the butt there. I was really just kind of looking for interesting monuments today, so that we could say that we fully explored this planet and all of the different biomes that you find therein. But it's looking like, aside from, you know, the occasional mountain, which has... Oh, there's like a resin reservoir up there. Besides the occasional mountain, there isn't a crazy amount of stuff to discover. What's this over here? This looks like... Oh! This is... I haven't seen one of these before, actually. This is an infinite compound reservoir, where you can literally suck all of the compound out of this thing. Although it is a little bit buggy, I will say that. There we go. Well, that's not too bad. Didn't get a lot out of it, but it's better than nothing. And then we're inside of some mountains over here, so we've got some copper ore, and we have a lovely murder chasm. So sometimes you can really easily find different resources by digging down. Other times it tends to be easiest if you just drive around and find a giant murder hole in the ground. Sometimes by mistake, sometimes intentionally. And you just use that to your benefit. Because why the floop not? Like here, we just got a bunch of copper for basically just wandering around. And that's part of the fun of a game like Astroneers, where you can just wander around like a crazy space hobo and make a crazy space living. Yeah. All of that sounds like it's only slightly insane. Whoop, don't fall down the hole, Larry. That's not a good way to end the day. Alright, hold on. It's like there's some more bacon down here. We got like a weird tumor plant that has a tumor underneath of it that we could use for research, probably. More resin. Don't really need more resin. I could do with some more power, though. What do we got here? That explodes, that thing. Yep. Gotta be careful of that resin. That green goopy shit will kill you. But what I do want is I want to finish getting a whole bunch of copper. Because we are gonna need a bunch of copper and other materials if we want to leave this planet and go to, like, the moon or something. Then, of course, the red stuff is laterite, which we always can use more of, I suppose. And there's also stabby plants down there. I'm not sure if I want to mess with stabby plants just randomly out in the wilderness, but hey, we made a pretty good haul, to be sure. Let's see, let's just make a little platform and get out of this hole. You know, I'm starting to wonder if it's possible in this game that they'll eventually add a planet that has like a natural oxygen-rich environment, as opposed to just an environment full of, you know, an exorbitant amount of murder. Because there's got to be at least one planet with just a bunch of oxygen for seemingly no reason, right? I mean, probably? I mean, that makes sense to me, at least. Because oxygen's not the most rare thing in the universe. Like, you get crystallized oxygen, you get, like, oxygen combinations which can be terrifyingly toxic in their chemical states. All that stuff, I'm sure, you can do wonders with. So I'm sure out there somewhere there's a planet that naturally developed without any plants to create oxygen, that we could just go roam around until all the oxygen ran out because we used it for all of our machines or something. Yeah, something like that probably makes sense. What's happening to all that spare compound I just got? Is it just falling underground? Yeah, I guess it's just falling into the abyss. Well, suppose we better get headed back to base and drop off all of our sweet, delicious loot. And I'm gonna see what we need for a truck, because the truck is like the Rover, but you can have better stuff on it. And to build the ooh, hello, that is a big something that I want. That is probably full of the best bacon in the universe. That is like a crashed spaceship, you guys. This thing is gonna be flippin' sweet. So let's see. That I want. That's an unknown spaceship research. And then this thing is gonna be full of all sorts of goodies. Yep, there we go. Comes with an extra seat. Comes with some titanium. I'm actually going to leave this compound here. And then we're gonna take the titanium and the copper and I guess the compound, which we kinda already had. And yeah, here you go. This is an example of one of the things you can find. And there's a lot of kind of procedurally generated bits that you can find crash landed on various planets. And then you can kind of dig it up, and I'm wondering if you could eventually use this to make, like, an interplanetary, intergalactic, like, exploration ship. Because clearly this is supposed to represent someone's primary vessel, but all it's got in it is some leftover materials and like a seat, which we could use to put onto other machines. So I'm actually going to come back for that. I'm going to drop off all of my goodies back at base. And we'll be right back to touch that thing with all of its sweet, delicious stuff. So we got some more plants over here. Don't really need anything that's in them. So let's see. Oh, there we go. Home sweet home. Where the deer and the buffalo suffocate horribly because we're in space. My favorite. Okay. So I'm going to keep this vehicle a little bit away from the base because if I drive too close to the base, one of these ends will attempt to latch on to the base, and that's kind of nice because I can click on it to create a tether to the base, and then I can charge the car from the base, or I can help power the base from the car if I have like a lot of smaller sub bases. But I don't really bother with stuff like that, so I'm gonna actually just deposit this right here, and I'm gonna take a stop over at the forge to make sure that I process all of this ore that I got. Whoops. You stay here, Mr. Malachite. And then you don't have to process titanium. Titanium just kind of does its thing however it wants because it's just fancy boy like that. We're gonna drop off all of these materials and tell our forge to process all of our malachite. There we go. Beautiful. Wonder if we'll be able to run into anything particularly interesting like, a whatchamacallit. Like, really good research stuff that we can use to get, like, an interstellar spaceship. Because if I could just switch to the best spaceship right away, just skip right there, that would be amazing. Let's see. Let's build a truck first. So that needs aluminum. And then we will head right back to that mountain and pick up the rest of that sweet... Well, I guess I don't technically need to have this container on hand, this storage bin. Let's take the storage thing off the back of this. We probably have enough power to get our ass all the way over there. But if I see a power node on the way, I will be sure to suck it dry for all of its sweet, delicious juices, like that one right there. Looks perfect. So, before when I was testing out this game, I definitely didn't bother to spend a lot of time on the rover, because almost immediately, I got the ability to make the truck. Like, that was my first research. So, sometimes you can just kind of skip right ahead, and if you get that option, I recommend doing it, because it saves you a buttload of time. There we go. Much better. Always good to have plenty of spare energy on hand. It saves you a lot of time and a headache. So let's grab all these goodies. I guess to begin with, we'll just grab, this thing. Let me just... So I can actually slap that on the back of the truck. And we can just go back to base this way. It's not ideal, but again, once you upgrade to the truck, like the really good vehicle, this whole thing becomes, like, just massively easier. And it makes you feel like less of a hobo trucker. And more of a regular trucker, I guess? I don't know. Like, do I look like a guy that's done a lot of trucking, do you? I mean, my family does go up to North Dakota to visit relatives on occasion. And a part of that used to be, my parents had a CB radio. And that was always really fun. Wait, am I missing something here? There's just this one random tether. Huh. Well, we used to have a CB radio, and I used to talk to weird truckers on the way up north, which as a kid, you know, that can be hit or miss, because truckers are some of the surliest human beings on the planet, but sometimes you make out alright. So what do we win? Did we win all the bacon? I guess we didn't win anything. We've run out of research already, which is unfortunate, but that's fine. We'll just power the base with some spare energy, because I've got plenty of it. Might as well. And then... Wait, I probably should use that on my car. Then we're gonna go back and we're gonna go get that, that extra seat. Because there's no reason not to. We can just use... So the thing with this is... You can go out and you can print, like, different seats or extra storage on a vehicle. But for right now, you cannot get that stuff back off the vehicle once it's been, like, built on top of it. But if you have a modular seat like this one, it's a lot easier to put different stuff on your spaceship so that you don't have to worry about, you know, wasting any space or having to build another one because you kind of fucked it up the first time, kind of a deal. Let's see, let's just grab this stuff. I can just put this in my backpack. Come on, you. Behave yourself. And you can store one of them in your printing slot at the bottom, so that actually makes for a little bit of extra storage. I'm looking for some surface aluminum, but I'm not sure if I'm gonna find any, to be honest. Like, I think that's pretty much out of the question for the moment. So let's go drop off this back seat. Because, I mean, this is like any survival game. If you've got the ability to hoard, like, material or components, by all means, hoard material and components. You will need every last thing to survive. I mean, it's not grueling survival, and there's no animals in this game yet that'll try to eat you, and I'm not sure if they have any plans of adding them anytime soon. But it's nice to leave your options open, you know? Let's see. The nice thing about this is that this could, either one of these could end up being the front seat for this vehicle. So you don't really have to worry about which direction you build it. And let's see, I need aluminum for this. So let's equip our storage, and let's go hunt for some aluminium, as they say, in the British side of things. Over in Europe, I'm not really sure what the deal is with that distinction, as opposed to aluminum. But, you know, language is what it is. Language does weird things, that's all you need to know. So let's stop by and grab some free hydrazine, because this stuff is basically just crystallized fuel, like regular old-fashioned fuel. And this we're gonna need to either run the trade platform or to visit the moon. And we're pretty close to visiting the moon. Like, I can pretty much build a spaceship now, it's just I don't wanna, because where's the fun in that? You can't just skip right to the moon. Or can you? Probably, I don't know. Seems like something Buzz Aldrin would know about. Not really that qualified. Let's see here. Boop. Alright, that's 3 of those. Not a bad haul. Still trying to see if we can't find any surface laterite, which is what's going to give us aluminum. I don't know that that particular name for aluminum has any basis in reality, but it certainly is interesting. So, none down here. Let's go back out to the surface so we can get around these shitty little rocks. Because, I mean, there's a lot of different biomes attached to every different planet. There's a lot of randomly generated stuff, like this thing right here. Like, who knows what crash landed for materials in this little spaceship? Could have been just about anything. You can also run into, like, dead astronauts and other stuff. And dead astronauts always have the best goodies. Let's see here, we've got some titanium. This is probably one of the only ways that you're gonna find titanium until you get off the first planet. But we got some free copper, some free titanium, all from a magic murder corpse of a spaceship. And everybody loves a magic murder corpse. Except maybe whoever made the corpse, but that's besides the point. So, which way was home again? I don't really remember. That's one of my few complaints in this game, is that it can be a little easy to kind of get lost. Although I think we headed north from the base. So, after we plumb the depths of this thingamabopper, shouldn't be too hard to go and find our way back home again. Let's see. Oop, free aluminum. I'm always down to clown with free aluminum and free copper. And of course, more free titanium. You can never have too much titanium in your life, Larry. Slap that right on there. Yeah, so this has been your pal Larry with some more Astroneer. I hope you guys and gals at home have enjoyed this series so far. And if you haven't checked this game out for yourselves, I would recommend it. It is a lot of fun. You can just kind of wander the plains for flippin' ever and go get lost and have a really fun time of it. So until next time, don't forget to like and subscribe here at the Feed Me Pixels YouTube channel. Be sure to check us out on twitch.tv/FeedMePixelsLive for our awesome group of live streamers. And maybe check out our website, feedmepixels.com, where we've got a lot of great written reviews and articles and all the things to really get you going in a literary sense. So bye, everybody, and have a good one.